Today I'm going to rank every new home builder in New Mexico. To be frank with you, there's a lot of options to choose from. My name is Chris Carruthers, local realtor in New Mexico, and I help first-time home buyers get into homes all the time using certain programs that help with down payment assistance, closing cost assistance. And if you just want to get into a brand new home and want to see what type of incentives they have to offer, I'm your guy. But before we get on with the video, I need to make a quick disclaimer here. These are my own personal opinions. Although I may be a realtor, I'm allowed to have my own personal opinions. All right, guys? So today we are going to be ranking each builder by the quality of their build, the value for the price, the incentives they offer, and overall which builder will suit you the best. I've been in hundreds of homes that are brand new here in Albuquerque, Los Lunas, and Rio Rancho. And might I say, we have some really nice builders out there, but then we also have some builders that may be charging a little too much for what they're offering. Tier A is going to be your best overall value that you get for the home, the incentives that builder offers. Tier B is going to be a solid product, right price point. However, the incentives that they may offer may not be the best. Tier C is going to be a good product. The build quality offer for the price may not be the best in my opinion. In my opinion, I feel like the builder who is delivering the most value in New Mexico today in 2026 is going to be Hakes Brothers. Hakes Brothers has communities in Los Lunas, Albuquerque, and Rio Rancho. They started in Las Cruces and slowly branched out further into New Mexico. And the reason why I put Hakes Brothers in A tier and probably one of my favorite builders is because their incentives, the build quality, and overall what they offer for the prices that they do. Hakes Brothers has a lot of incentives right now. They have some homes offering upwards of $30,000 to $40,000 in flex cash for you to use as the buyer. If you'd like for me to make a video talking about flex cash incentives and how you're able to get extra incentives from builders, feel free to comment that in the video below. If you're a first-time home buyer and you're looking for a new home and you're okay with living out in Los Lunas, I would say Hakes Brothers is going to be your best bang for your buck. And even in Rio Rancho too. Rio Rancho is a little bit of a higher price point. When you look at that build compared to all the other builders and you're just strictly looking at the incentives, the build quality, and the price, Hakes Brothers is always going to win. Now, another solid builder in New Mexico right now is going to be DR Horton. I see there's a lot of controversy online with DR Horton, you know. Some people have great experiences with DR Horton and others may not have the best experience with DR Horton. Might I say though, I personally have not had any bad experiences with DR Horton here in New Mexico. However, DR Horton is rated one of the largest national builders in the US. So when having that title tied to your name, of course, there's going to be a lot of good news and also bad news. Typically the news that performs well on social media is going to be the bad news because we all like to see the negative. We really don't care about the positive. However, if you've had a bad experience with DR Horton, I'm not here to take away that. All I recommend is whatever builder you do decide to go with, make sure you guys get a home inspection. $500 is going to save you thousands of dollars in repairs. But back on the topic, DR Horton goes in A tier as well. And that's because DR Horton produces quality products for an affordable price. Now, if I were to compare Hakes Brothers build quality and DR Horton's build quality, I would definitely put Hakes Brothers at the top still because Hakes Brothers just has an amazing craftsmanship and it feels like you're walking to luxury. However, on the other side with DR Horton, they build a very simple product, a simple floor plan. They're offering rates as of today in the low 4.99% for new home buyers who are thinking about buying a new home with them. They offer 10-year warranties. And overall, if you look at a new construction home and you think you're looking for something truly affordable, DR Horton is pretty much always going to be that option for you. The home has modern amenities, has granite countertops, new countertop. It has the nice modern paint colors all around. I mean, sometimes the homes may look a little cookie cutter, but again, you're buying an affordable home with a great incentive. That's why DR Horton's at A tier. Now, number 3, Twilight Homes. Twilight Homes is local to New Mexico, and I'm putting Twilight Homes in B tier. Twilight Homes has been really stepping their game up lately with their incentives. I've seen a few of their homes, and might I say, Twilight Homes builds some beautiful luxury homes. However, in my opinion, they're more entry-level homes. I feel they need to step it up a notch compared to all the other entry home builders like Hakes Brothers and DR Horton. But overall, Twilight Homes builds an amazing product. And if I'm looking at their luxury homes, looking for a new home that had a little bit more luxury to it. Even with their entry-level homes, Twilight Homes has been really incentivizing people to get into their homes. Recently, they just had an amazing promotion where they're giving all new home buyers in New Mexico a $35,000 flex cash incentive as well in their new homes. And also, Twilight Homes is one of the few builders who will actually build a casita. Over in the Mesa del Sol area, they have a floor plan that has a casita attached to the top of the house. Mesa del Sol is already they already have weird floor plans because there's not really backyards there. But with Twilight Homes, they build the main home downstairs, and then they have an attached casita at the top where there's a staircase outside, and that staircase takes you all the way to its own entrance, and you walk into this nice casita. So I like that for Twilight Homes. Richmond American Home hasn't been around here for too long, but it's definitely has made its name here in New Mexico. Although Richmond American Homes may be a little bit more pricier compared to like your Hakes Brothers and your D.R. Horton, the reason why I put them in A tier is because their build quality is simply unmatched. I've seen a lot of Richmond American homes, a lot of different floor plans built by them. And might I say, like, if I was a first-time home buyer and I was looking for something that wasn't so entry level, like, you know, I would say Richmond American Homes is probably going to be one of the ones that I highly look into, because you could buy a Richmond American Homes in like the low 400s out in like Rio Rancho and in some parts of Albuquerque, and also definitely Los Angeles as well. But the reason why I put Richmond American Homes in A tier is because of the build quality, and they still have some really good incentives as well. Their incentives may not be as good as Hakes Brothers and D.R. Hortons, but if you compare their incentives, the value for what you're getting with Richmond American goes in A tier. Oh, and I also forgot too, Richmond American Homes, they build bigger homes. So what I mean by that is, if you look at a Hakes Brothers home, a D.R. Horton home, their floor plans are going to be like 1,300 square feet, 1,400 square feet, 1,506 square feet, 1,600 square feet. And then when you start getting into more of like those higher price tags, you'll get bigger floor plans. However, Richmond American Homes, they don't really make any small floor plans. All their homes feel rather large for what they're giving you. That's why I like Richmond American Homes, because you feel like you have more space inside of those homes. You don't feel so cluttered in together. Now, Brazo Homes, don't get me wrong. Majority of their clients are going to be someone who's looking for something a little bit more custom than like a track home or like semi-custom, because a Brazo will build your home from the ground up, which is really nice. However, the only thing with a Brazo is their incentives are not as incentivizing compared to like buying a Richmond American home. So I put a Brazo in C tier. And a Brazo is going to be for someone who is definitely looking for that entry-level luxury home, meaning like you're not paying a luxury price tag, but you're still getting luxury amenities in a nice brand new home. That's who I'd say a Brazo is for. Their home prices start in like the mid 500s and they go up. So that gives you kind of idea like what you're getting with. I'm not too up to date with what they do as far as incentives, but every time I go over there, usually the reason why my buyers always say they want to move on to the next is just because of their incentives. Now Pulte and a Brazo, they're very similar as far as like the build quality and what they offer as far as incentives. Pulte I would put in, I was almost going to say C tier, but B tier. And that's because Pulte does have like a really good quality product. I like what they build. It's just that whenever I'm looking at a Pulte home or I'm touring a Pulte home with a client, looking at like the value of like that new home compared to what other new homes I see, I would say you're kind of buying Pulte more for the brand than you are for the house. Pulte has a really strong cult following behind them, and they talk about it a lot if you talk to one of their sales agents. That's pretty much why I feel like the Pulte homes that have a little bit more of a higher price tag is because of like that cult following that they have. Pulte is more of like that Gucci brand. Presents itself as like this luxury builder that designs luxury, beautiful homes, which they do. It's just their price tags and the incentives that they offer behind those homes. Also, guys, if there's a builder that I missed in this video, comment that builder name below and I'll do a whole dedicated video just on that builder. Now, LGI homes, guys. LGI homes, I've seen quite a few LGI homes in my lifetime, guys, and I would put them in C tier. C tier because, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for an affordable home, you might as well go with like a Hakes Brothers or a D.R. Horton home. For LGI, I feel like their homes are a little too basic for what they offer. Their homes are a little too vanilla for the value. And again, guys, this is all based off my own opinion. If you have a different opinion on the LGI, feel free to comment that down below. This is all my opinion, but with LGI homes, they're a great builder. They wouldn't be in business today if they were a horrible builder. But yeah, I just feel like their homes are a little bit too vanilla for my taste for what they sell them at here, especially here in Albuquerque. Maybe if you go out to Belen, you can find yourself a good deal on an LGI home, but here in Albuquerque and Los Angeles, yeah, their homes are just a little bit too vanilla for my liking. The one mistake I feel like a lot of home buyers make in New Mexico when they're out searching for the new home is only working with the builder's sales agent, especially being a realtor and representing clients. And one thing I may say about them is you need to know that they work for the builder. They don't work for you. At the end of the day, the builder hired them to get them the most money they can for their home. Their job is to sell the home with the least amount of concessions at the higher price. So for you as a new home buyer in New Mexico, having an agent represents you costs you nothing. In my opinion, it's good to have some type of representation on your side, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, because it's really easy just to go and sign a bunch of documents and not really know what you're signing. And then before you know it, you bought a home and you don't even really know what happened. So it's good just to have someone that represents yourself. And more than likely, if you have an agent representing you as a buyer, that sales agent that's working for that builder probably going to be on their P's and Q's because they know that we're not going to put up with whatever they have to say. And we're more than likely going to get you the best possible deal we can get you with. Many new home builders don't negotiate on the price because think about it like this. A builder is building out a community. They sell one home for $350. They sell another home for $360. They sell another home for $350. They sell another home for $370. All the same floor plans. The reason why a lot of builders do not want to negotiate on prices is because if they sell a home for lower than what they sold that same home for a couple months ago, what's going to happen is all the comps in that community are going to go down in value. Therefore, that does hurt the builder. So instead of negotiating a price when you're out shopping for a new home in New Mexico, let's talk more about incentives. As long as this says $350,000 on paper for that home, the builder is more than likely to give you some really great incentives on the back. Now, those incentives could be used to buy down your interest rate, cover your closing costs. With some builders, they'll even allow you to use some of that flex cash to make prepayments on your mortgage payment. There's a lot of things that you could do in a lot of different ways. You could use those flex cash incentives to benefit you as the buyer. So I'm curious, let me know in the comments, guys, which builder would you choose? We put Hakes Brothers in A tier, D.R. Horton in A tier, Richmond American Homes in A tier. We put Abrazo in B tier, LGI in C tier, and Twilight Homes in B tier. Let me know in the comments if you agree with this or if you disagree. Also, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're thinking about buying your first home in 2026 or next year, read the description and fill out the form and reach out to me. Let's see if we get you qualified for your first home in New Mexico. See you next video. Bye.